that is fairly recent, just in the last maybe 150 years. So when Mozart and Beethoven were doing their amazing work back in the time before that, no one really knew where pitch came from. We didn't understand that the pitch of a sound was the frequency of the sound wave. And it wasn't until someone built a device like this that we saw the connection. So this device, it was made by a former student, and it's in a class of musical instruments that I call experimental. It's not a string, it's not a percussion, it's not a wind instrument. And the way it works is when you turn on the motor, this cylinder spins, but the cylinder is really made up of 13 different wooden discs. And they've got this rubber matting on it. And so if you take a guitar pick attached to a soundboard, you can hear, as those ridges go by, you can hear the pitch. Now, I want you to raise your hand, and the question is going to be, do you think this side is the higher pitch, or do you think this side is the higher pitch? So raise your hand if you think this side is the higher pitch. Raise your hand if you think this side is the higher pitch. Okay, so most people said this, and that's typical in a classroom. So let's think about that.
I feel like it's going to be that one, because that's what
Well,
you want us to think.
we could figure it out.
Kevin's answer.
This one, this wheel is bigger. In fact, it has twice the diameter as this one. And so let's say that the little one has 100 ridges on it. That means that the big one would have to have 200 ridges on it, because it's twice as big, twice the circumference. When this thing's spinning, it does, for every revolution the little one does, the big one does the same revolution. So let's say that in 1 second it makes one revolution. 50 per second, 100 per second. That's the one that has the higher pitch. So let me turn it on and you can listen to it. So we know this has a higher frequency, or this has a lower frequency than this. And we can listen to the pitch. So you can hear the difference in the pitch, and if you're a musician, would you agree that that was the octave?
Yeah.
And if you're not a musician, the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow, think of the first word, somewhere. Some and where differ by an octave. So in your mind's ear, listen to it again. Yeah. Here's another song you might recognize. It's a bad rendition of the Joker. Yeah, I'm not even gonna do that.
Yeah,
Wait,
I don't
so
understand.
if the diameter is bigger, why is the sound more?
So the diameter of the large wheel is twice the diameter,
Yeah.
which means the circumference is twice the circumference. So if I have the same rubber matting wound around it, I'm going to get twice as many ridges there. So what I can say for sure is when this is rotating, and I put something up against that matting, the one with the bigger wheel is going to have twice the frequency. And then I can listen to it, and I can say, oh, I hear the octave there. I hear that the bigger one, which has twice the frequency, has a pitch that's an octave higher. So that's a higher pitch. And so this seems really simple, but it wasn't until the late 1800s that someone built something like this where they actually physically saw the frequency and heard the pitch and made the connection between the two, that the pitch is a frequency of a sound wave. I had another